You're here because something inside you needed this. Not because you were told to rest, not because someone scheduled peace into your evening, but because somewhere beneath the noise of everything you've carried, there was a quiet voice that said, "Stop now," and you listened. That takes more courage than most people realize. To pause when the world hasn't given you permission. To choose stillness when there are still things undone. To let yourself be here, in this moment, without needing to fix anything or prove anything or become anything other than what you already are. So before we go any further, I want you to know, you don't have to hold anything right now. Not the weight of what happened earlier, not the worry about what comes next, not the tension in your shoulders or the tightness in your chest or the thoughts that have been circling your mind like birds that forgot how to land. You can set it all down. Just for now, just for this. Because this moment isn't asking anything of you. It's not waiting for you to be better or stronger or more put together. It's not measuring you against some invisible standard you've been trying to meet all day. This moment is simply here, holding space for you exactly as you are. And that's enough. You are enough, even if you don't feel like it. Even if you spent the entire day feeling like you were falling short or falling apart or just barely holding on. Even if you said things you wish you hadn't, or didn't say things you wish you had, or moved through the hours with a heaviness you couldn't quite name, none of that changes what's true right here. You made it. You're here. And that matters more than you know. There's a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from living in a world that never stops moving. A tiredness that sleep alone can't fix because it lives deeper than your body. It settles into the spaces between your thoughts, into the quiet corners where you hold all the things you haven't been able to say out loud. It's the exhaustion of being strong when you didn't feel strong, of being present when you wanted to disappear, of carrying conversations and responsibilities and expectations while some part of you was barely keeping pace. And maybe nobody saw it. Maybe you wore it well. Maybe you smiled through it or pushed through it or simply survived it without anyone knowing how much effort that took. But you know, and that knowing, that awareness of how hard you've been trying, deserves to be acknowledged. Not fixed, not solved, just seen. So I see it. I see you. And I want you to know that you don't have to try so hard right now. The trying can rest. The effort can pause. The constant managing of everything inside and around you can soften just for a little while. Because here, in this quiet space we're creating together, there's nothing you need to manage. No performance required. No mask to maintain. No version of yourself you need to present. Here, you can simply be the person you are when no one is watching. The one who gets tired. The one who worries. The one who sometimes feels too much or thinks too much or carries too much without knowing how to set it down. That person is welcome here. That person is safe here. Let yourself feel that safety. Not as an idea, but as something real. As real as the surface beneath you, supporting your weight without effort. As real as the air around you, holding you without asking for anything in return. You are held, even when it doesn't feel like it. Even when the world seems too sharp or too loud or too overwhelming. Even then, there is something beneath you that will not let you fall. And I know it's hard to trust that sometimes, when you've had to catch yourself so many times. When you've learned that the only reliable support is the strength you can summon from within yourself, even when you're running on empty. But just for now, you don't have to be your own anchor. You don't have to hold yourself together with sheer will. You can let something else carry you for a while. Let this moment carry you. Let these words carry you. Let the quiet carry you. There's a rhythm to the night that the day doesn't have. A gentleness. A permission to slow down that daylight rarely grants. When the world gets quiet, something shifts. The urgency fades. The pressure eases. The constant forward motion finally, mercifully, pauses. And in that pause, you can hear things you couldn't hear before. Not the noise of your thoughts, but something underneath them. Something steadier. Something that was there all along, waiting for you to get quiet enough to notice. It's the part of you that isn't made of fear or worry or endless planning. The part that doesn't need to solve anything or fix anything or figure anything out. It's the part of you that simply knows how to be. And that part is still here, beneath everything else. Beneath the stress and the striving, and the constant mental negotiation with reality. It's still here, and it's still whole, and it's still you. The truest version of you. The one that existed before the world told you who to be. The one that will remain when all the noise finally settles. And maybe you've lost touch with that part of yourself. Maybe it's been so long since you felt genuinely at peace that you're not even sure what peace feels like anymore. Maybe calm has become so unfamiliar that when it arrives, you don't know how to receive it. That's okay. You don't need to know. You don't need to do anything with it or understand it or make it into something useful. You just need to let it be here. Let it exist alongside everything else you're feeling. The calm and the chaos, the quiet and the noise, the peace and the uncertainty. All of it can be here. You don't have to choose. You don't have to push away the difficult parts in order to access the gentle ones. Your mind has been working so hard, thinking and analyzing and preparing and protecting, trying to stay ahead of what might go wrong, trying to solve problems before they arrive, trying to control the uncontrollable by sheer force of mental effort. And maybe that's kept you safe in some ways. Maybe that vigilance has served you. Maybe it's gotten you through moments when you needed to be sharp and ready and prepared for anything. But right now, you don't need to be ready for anything. Right now, there's nothing coming. Nothing you need to defend against or prepare for or figure out. Right now, you can let your mind rest the way your body has been asking to rest. Not by forcing it to stop thinking, but by giving it permission to think about nothing in particular, to wander without purpose, to simply exist without a task. Because your worth isn't measured by your productivity. Your value isn't determined by how much you accomplish, or how efficiently you manage your time, or how well you maintain control. You are valuable because you exist. Period. Not because of what you do or what you provide or how well you perform. Just because you are. And the person you are right now, in this exact moment, with all your imperfections and uncertainties and unfinished business, is already complete, already whole, already deserving of rest and peace and gentleness. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to deserve it. It's already yours. So let yourself have it. Let yourself sink into this moment without questioning whether you've done enough to warrant it. Without tallying up your accomplishments or measuring yourself against some impossible standard. Let yourself be here, just as you are, and let that be enough. There's a certain kind of grief that comes with being human. Not the grief of losing someone or something specific, but the grief of living in a world where everything is temporary, where moments pass and can't be held, where people change and leave and sometimes forget to come back, where nothing stays the way it was, no matter how much you want it to. And maybe you've been carrying that grief without naming it. Maybe it's been sitting in your chest, making it hard to breathe, making everything feel heavier than it should. Maybe you've been mourning something you can't quite articulate, the loss of who you used to be, the death of certain dreams, the slow erosion of hope or trust, or the belief that things will somehow get easier. That grief is real. It matters. It deserves to be acknowledged, not dismissed or minimized or talked out of existence. So if it's there, let it be there. Let it move through you the way water moves through soil, slowly, naturally, without force. You don't have to fix it or understand it or make it mean something. You just have to let it exist. Let it be part of the landscape of who you are right now. Because feelings aren't problems to solve. They're information. They're evidence of your humanity. They're proof that you're alive and awake and paying attention, even when paying attention hurts. And yes, sometimes it does hurt. Sometimes being alive means feeling things you didn't ask to feel. Sometimes consciousness comes with a cost, but it also comes with moments like this. Moments of quiet and softness and the possibility of peace. Moments when the world gets quiet enough that you can hear your own heartbeat. When the noise fades enough that you can remember who you are beneath all the roles you play. These moments matter too, maybe even more than the difficult ones, because they remind you that difficulty isn't all there is, that beneath the struggle, there's still gentleness, still beauty, still the possibility of rest, and you deserve to experience that, not just in theory, but in practice, not just as an idea you believe in, but as a reality you live, right here, right now. Let this be one of those moments. Let this be a space where you don't have to fight or strive or prove anything, where you can simply exist, held by the quiet, supported by the stillness, wrapped in the gentleness of your own awareness. You've been so strong for so long. You've held so much, carried so much, endured so much without complaint or recognition or relief. And maybe you thought strength meant never stopping, never pausing, never admitting that you're tired or overwhelmed or just barely holding on. But real strength isn't about constant endurance. It's about knowing when to rest. It's about having the courage to stop before you break. It's about choosing to be gentle with yourself, even when the world is asking you to be hard. That's the kind of strength that sustains, that heals, that allows you to keep going without losing yourself in the process. So be strong enough to rest. Be brave enough to let go. Be courageous enough to admit that you don't have to do this alone, even if this is just the simple act of existing through another day. You are not alone in this. You never were, even when it felt that way. Even when the silence was so thick you couldn't imagine anyone else understanding. Even when the isolation felt like a permanent state rather than a passing condition. There are others who have felt what you feel, who have carried what you carry, who know what it's like to move through the world with a heaviness no one else can see. And maybe that doesn't fix anything. Maybe it doesn't make the weight any lighter or the path any clearer. But maybe it helps to know that you're not the only one. That this human experience, with all its difficulty and beauty and impossible contradictions, is something you share with countless others who are also just trying to make it through. We're all just trying to make it through. One moment at a time, one breath at a time, one quiet night at a time. And we do make it through. Not because we're superhuman or invincible or immune to pain. We make it through because we're resilient in ways we don't even recognize. Because we have a capacity for healing that operates beneath our conscious awareness. Because something in us knows how to mend, even when our minds don't believe it's possible. That something is working right now. As you rest here, as you listen, as you let yourself be held by this moment. It's knitting together the frayed edges, soothing the raw places, softening the tight spaces where you've been holding tension without realizing it. You don't have to do anything to make that happen. It's already happening. Your body already knows how to heal. Your mind already knows how to rest. Your spirit already knows how to restore itself when given the chance. All you have to do is let it. All you have to do is stop interfering. Stop pushing. Stop trying so hard. Just let yourself be here, in this gentle darkness, in this quiet space, in this moment that asks nothing of you except your presence. And even your presence doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be fully relaxed or completely calm or entirely at peace. You can be restless and still belong here. You can be anxious and still be welcome here. You can be uncertain and still be exactly where you need to be. Because this isn't about achieving some ideal state. This isn't about becoming someone different or better or more evolved. This is about coming home to yourself, to the self that doesn't need to be anything other than what it is, to the self that exists beyond all the trying and striving and constant self-improvement. That self is already perfect, already complete, already worthy of love and rest and all the gentleness you've been withholding because you thought you had to earn it first. You don't. You never did. The gentleness was always yours. The rest was always available. The peace was always possible. You just had to get quiet enough to notice, still enough to receive, open enough to let it in. And you're doing that now, even if it doesn't feel like it, even if your mind is still racing, or your body is still tense, or your emotions are still churning beneath the surface. You're doing it. You're here. You're allowing this moment to hold you. And that's all you need to do. That's all there is to do. Just be here. Just breathe. Just let the quiet wash over you like water, cool and clean and endlessly renewing. Let it carry away the residue of the day, the accumulated tension, the unfinished conversations, the moments you replayed in your mind, wishing you'd handled them differently. Let it all dissolve. Let it all fade. Let it all become part of the vast forgiving darkness that surrounds you now. Because the darkness isn't your enemy. It's not something to fear or fight against or banish with artificial light. The darkness is rest. The darkness is peace. The darkness is the womb from which everything emerges and to which everything returns. It's where you go to be remade, where you go to remember, where you go to release everything that no longer serves you and wake up softer, lighter, more yourself than you were before. So don't resist it. Don't fight it. Let it enfold you. Let it hold you. Let it do what it's always done, what it's designed to do. Let it give you back to yourself. The world will be there when you wake. with all its demands and complications and impossible choices, with all its beauty and cruelty and everything in between. But right now, the world can wait. Right now, everything can wait. Right now, there's only this breath, this moment, this quiet refuge where you don't have to be anything except exactly who you are. And who you are is enough, has always been enough, will always be enough, no matter what happens, no matter what comes next. No matter how many times you stumble or fall or lose your way, you are enough. You have always been enough. You will always be enough. Let that truth settle into your bones. Let it sink deeper than thought, deeper than doubt, deeper than all the voices that have told you otherwise. You are enough, and you are loved, not because of what you do or how you perform or how well you meet expectations. You are loved because you exist, because you're here, because your presence in this world matters in ways you may never fully understand. You matter. Your life matters. Your pain matters. Your joy matters. All of it matters. So rest now, knowing you are held. You are seen. You are valued. Rest knowing that you don't have to carry everything alone, that you don't have to figure everything out before you can let yourself feel peace. Rest knowing that this moment, this quiet, this gentle darkness, is a gift. And you don't have to do anything with it except receive it. So receive it. Let it fill you. Let it soften you. Let it remind you of what's always been true, even when you forgot. You are safe. You are whole. You are exactly where you need to be. And when the world gets quiet like this, when everything finally settles and the noise fades and the day releases its grip on you, there's something that emerges, something that was always there, waiting, something that knows how to rest, something that knows how to heal, something that knows how to bring you home. Let that something guide you now. Let it carry you into sleep, into stillness, into the deep and dreamless peace that asks nothing and gives everything. Let it remind you, one more time, that you are loved, you are worthy, you are enough, and you always have been.